Chapter 1, The Vanishing Pages. Mickey Mouse had always loved the school library. It was a cozy nook tucked at the end of Willow Creek Elementary, with shelves that stretched just high enough for a 10-year-old to feel like an explorer. The air smelled of old paper and adventure, and sunlight spilled through a big window, painting the floor in golden patches. On this particular Friday, with the final bell still echoing in the halls, Mickey lingered after everyone else had bolted for the weekend. He wasn't sure why. Maybe it was the way the quiet hummed, like the room was holding its breath. He wandered past the usual books, the ones about pirates and talking animals, until his fingers brushed something odd on a low shelf. It was a book, but not like the others. Its cover shimmered like a puddle catching starlight, and the title, The Magic Book of FairyTales, curled in letters that seemed to wiggle if you stared too long. Mickey's heart did a little hop. He glanced around. The library was empty, the librarian long gone to her coffee break. He tucked the book free, dust puffing into the air, and plopped onto a beanbag to investigate. The cover felt warm, almost alive, and when he cracked it open, a faint glow spilled out, tickling his nose. But the pages were blank. Not just blank, but empty, like someone had scrubbed every word away. Mickey flipped faster, his brows knitting. Page after page, nothing. Just smooth, creamy paper that seemed to sigh under his touch. He was about to snap it shut when a breeze rustled the pages, though no windows were open. A voice, soft as a whisper in a dream, floated out. "Help me," it said. "The stories are gone." Mickey yelped, nearly tossing the book. He froze, ears straining. The library stayed silent, but his pulse thumped like a drum. "Who's there?" he called, his voice wobbling. No answer. He stared at the book, half expecting it to sprout legs and scamper off. Instead, the glow pulsed, and the whisper came again. "Find the stories. Fill the pages with kindness and imagination. Hurry." Mickey's mouth went dry. He wasn't the bravest kid in Willow Creek. He liked stories, sure, but he wasn't the hero in them. He was just Mickey, the kid who tripped over his shoelaces and laughed too loud at jokes. Yet something about that whisper tugged at him, like a string tied to his heart. He couldn't ignore it. But he also couldn't do this alone. He stuffed the book into his backpack and sprinted out, the library door banging behind him. The playground was still buzzing with kids grabbing their bikes. Mickey scanned the crowd and spotted his friends by the swings. Bluey Heeler, a 7-year-old with floppy ears and a grin that promised mischief, was dangling upside down, humming a tune she'd probably made up. Peppa Pig, 8 and full of opinions, stood nearby, hands on hips, explaining why her kite was the best in town. "Hey, Bluey! Peppa!" Mickey waved, skidding to a stop. "I need your help. Something super weird just happened." Bluey flipped off the swing, landing with a bounce. "Weird like a talking toaster? Or weird like my sister's dance moves?" Her eyes sparkled, already hooked. Peppa snorted, brushing a curl from her face. "Mickey, if this is about your math homework again, I'm not helping. I've got puddle jumping plans." "It's not homework," Mickey said, unzipping his bag. He lowered his voice, glancing around like a spy in a cartoon. "It's a book. A magic book. And it talked to me." Peppa's eyebrows shot up. Bluey gasped, clapping her paws. "A talking book? Like, with a mouth? Did it have teeth?" "No teeth," Mickey said, grinning despite himself. But it said the stories are gone, and we have to find them. Look. He pulled out the book, its cover glinting under the afternoon sun. Bluey leaned close, sniffing it like it might smell of cookies. Peppa tapped the cover, skeptical, but when Mickey opened it to show the blank pages, both girls froze. The glow flickered, faint but real, and the whisper came again, so soft they all leaned in. Enter the worlds. Bring back the tales. Peppa jumped back. Okay, that's not normal. Books don't talk, Mickey. But it's cool. Bluey said, bouncing on her toes. It's like we're in a story already. What do we do? Read it? Shake it? Sing to it? Mickey bit his lip. I think we have to go inside it. Like, into the stories. To find new ones. Peppa crossed her arms. Inside a book? That sounds like a great way to get stuck forever. What if we turn into paper? Bluey giggled. Paper Peppa. I'd draw a mustache on you. Mickey's stomach twisted. Peppa wasn't wrong. This was risky. But the whisper's plea echoed in his head, and he thought of all the fairy tales he loved, princesses, dragons, heroes. If they were gone, it felt like a piece of the world was missing. He took a deep breath. We'll be careful. Together. Right? Bluey nodded so fast her ears flapped. Peppa sighed, then smirked. Fine. But if I get turned into a bookmark, I'm blaming you, Mickey. They huddled around the book, its glow brightening like it knew they'd agreed. Mickey traced a finger over the blank page, and the world spun. Colors swirled, the playground vanished, and a warm wind tugged them forward. When the dizziness cleared, they stood in a forest where the trees hummed a gentle song, their leaves sparkling like emeralds. The air smelled of honey and pine, and fireflies danced in lazy loops. Whoa, Bluey whispered, spinning in a circle. This is better than my best daydream. Peppa nudged Mickey. Okay, magic boy, now what? Mickey clutched the book, still glowing in his hands. The forest felt alive, watching them. Ahead, a stone gate loomed, carved with twisting vines and a single, shining lock. Words shimmered above it, speak the truth to pass. Below, a riddle glowed. I'm tall when I'm young, short when I'm old. What am I? The trio exchanged looks. The humming trees grew quieter, like they were listening. Mickey's heart raced. This was it, their first test. But before he could think, a rustle came from the bushes. Something was watching them. Or someone. Guys? Bluey said, pointing at the shadows. Is that part of the story? The book pulsed in Mickey's hands, and the whisper returned, urgent now. Solve it. Hurry. Chapter 2, The Singing Forest. The forest hummed around Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, its trees swaying like they were sharing secrets. The stone gate loomed ahead, its riddle glowing softly. I'm tall when I'm young, short when I'm old. What am I? Fireflies bobbed in the air, casting flickers of light that danced across the trio's faces. Mickey clutched the magic book, its cover warm and pulsing, like a heartbeat. The whisper's warning still rang in his ears. Solve it. Hurry. But that rustle in the bushes made his skin prickle. Something was out there, watching. Bluey spun toward the sound, her ears perked. Maybe it's a friendly bunny. Or a dancing mushroom. This place feels like one of my games. Peppa snorted, planting her hooves firmly. Bunnies don't stare like that, Bluey. Mickey, what's the plan? We can't just stand here guessing riddles with whatever that is creeping around. Mickey's stomach did a flip. He wanted to be brave, like the heroes in his favorite stories, but his knees felt wobbly. He glanced at the riddle again, chewing his lip. Tall when young, short when old, he muttered. It's gotta be something that shrinks over time. Like a pencil? Peppa tilted her head. A pencil? You sharpen it, sure, but is that old? Sounds like a stretch. Bluey bounced on her paws, eyes wide. Boo! Maybe it's a balloon. It's tall when it's full, then all saggy and sad when it's not. Mickey grinned, but the gate stayed silent, its lock unmoving. The rustling grew louder, and a small, furry shape darted between the bushes. Bluey gasped, pointing. There! It's not a mushroom. Before Mickey could stop her, Peppa marched toward the bushes, puffing out her chest. Hey! Show yourself! We're not scared. Her voice echoed, and the trees humming faltered, like they were holding their breath. Mickey grabbed her arm, but too late. A squirrel popped out, no bigger than a teacup, with a bushy tail and eyes like shiny black buttons. It crossed its tiny arms, glaring. Rude, the squirrel squeaked. Barging into my forest, shouting like you own it. And you're wrong about the riddle, by the way. Pencils? Balloons? Pfft. Mickey blinked. You heard us? Of course I heard you, the squirrel said, scampering onto a root. I'm Sammy, keeper of the singing forest. And you're making a mess of things. The trees are cranky because their song's fading, and now you're stuck at the gate. Typical. Bluey clapped her paws. A talking squirrel. I knew this place was awesome. Hi, Sammy. Why's the song fading? Sammy's tail twitched. Because the stories are gone, Pup. This forest runs on tales, kind ones, full of heart. Without them, the trees forget their music. That book you're holding? It's supposed to keep things humming. Fix it, or we're all in trouble. Mickey's heart sank. The book glowed brighter in his hands, as if agreeing. We're trying, he said. But the riddle's tricky. Can you help? Sammy squinted, then sighed. Fine. One hint, the answer is something that burns bright but doesn't last forever. Now think, before those trees go silent for good. Peppa tapped her chin. Burns bright, like a firework? No, that's not tall. Mickey's eyes lit up. Wait. A candle. It's tall when it's young, just made, and short when it's old, all burned down. Bluey bounced. That's it. Candles are so fancy in stories, too. Mickey faced the gate, his voice steadier now. The answer is a candle. The words shimmered, and with a soft click, the lock glowed gold. The gate creaked open, revealing a path lined with flowers that sparkled like tiny stars. The trees hummed louder, almost cheerful, and Sammy gave a grudging nod. Not bad, kid, Sammy said. But don't get cocky. You've got work to do. Peppa puffed out her cheeks. Work? We solved your riddle. Where's our story for the book? Sammy scampered up a tree, flicking his tail. Earn it. The forest needs its song back. Find the heart bloom, a flower that holds the melody. It's deep in the grove, but it's shy. Only kindness will make it bloom. Mess up, and you're stuck here. Mickey swallowed. The path ahead looked inviting, but shadows danced at its edges. He glanced at his friends. Bluey was already humming along with the trees, and Peppa looked ready to charge in, though her eyes flicked nervously to the bushes. Oh, bother, Mickey thought. They were in this together, for better or worse. Let's find that flower, he said, gripping the book. For the forest. For the stories. They stepped through the gate, the path crunching under their feet. The trees sang sweeter now, but Samwise words stuck with Mickey. Kindness makes it bloom. He hoped he could figure out what that meant. The grove was dense, with vines curling like sleepy snakes and flowers that winked in the dim light. Bluey skipped ahead, singing a made-up song about squirrels and stars, while Peppa kept muttering about wanting to see the flower already. Peppa, relax, Mickey said, dodging a low branch. We'll find it. Easy for you to say, Peppa huffed. You're not the one who almost got squashed by a bush back there. I want to help, but this place is too wiggly. Bluey giggled. Wiggly's fun. Look. She darted to a patch of glowing petals, but as she reached out, the flowers snapped shut like grumpy clowns. Ah, they're shy. Mickey frowned, remembering Samwise hint. Maybe we're being too loud. Let's try being gentle. Peppa rolled her eyes but softened her steps. Mickey knelt by the flowers, whispering, Hey, we're not here to hurt you. We just want to help the forest sing again. The petals quivered, then eased open, revealing a single, radiant bloom in the center, the heart bloom, pulsing with light like a tiny sun. That's it. Bluey whispered, clapping silently. But Peppa, eager to help, lunged forward. I'll get it. Her hoof brushed the vines, and whoosh, they sprang to life, wrapping around her legs, then Bluey's, then Mickey's. The heart bloom dimmed, its light flickering like a scared firefly. The tree's song stuttered, and Samwise' voice echoed from somewhere above. Kindness, not clumsiness, he scolded. Now look at the mess you're in. Mickey struggled, the vines tightening. The book slipped from his hands, landing open, and a faint symbol glowed on its page, a swirling star he hadn't seen before. His heart raced. The forest was fading, Peppa was yelping, and Bluey was trying to sing the vines away. They were trapped, and the heart bloom was slipping away. What had they missed? Chapter 3, The River of Reflections. The vines squeezed tighter around Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, their grip like a grumpy hug that wouldn't let go. The singing forest had gone quiet, its trees barely humming, and the heart bloom's glow flickered like a candle in a breeze. Mickey's heart thumped as he squirmed, the magic book lying open just out of reach. That strange star symbol on its page seemed to pulse, teasing him with a secret he couldn't grasp. Peppa huffed, twisting in the vines, while Bluey tried to hum a cheerful tune, though her voice wobbled. These vines are not my friends, Peppa grumbled, kicking uselessly. Mickey, this is your fault for picking that flower idea. My fault? Mickey said, his cheeks hot. You're the one who charged in like a bulldozer, Peppa. Bluey giggled, even as a vine tickled her nose. Bulldozer Peppa. That's a funny game. But, maybe we should focus? The flower's looking super sad. Mickey glanced at the heart bloom, its light dimming fast. Samwise the squirrel was nowhere in sight, and the forest felt heavier, like it was disappointed in them. He took a shaky breath. He wasn't a leader like the kids in stories, always knowing what to do. But his friends were counting on him. Okay, he said softly. Sammy said kindness makes it bloom. Maybe we need to talk to the vines? Peppa stopped squirming, her eyes wide. Talk to them? Mickey, they're plants, not pen pals. Bluey's ears perked. Ooh, I talk to my plants at home. Like, grow big, little buddies. Let's try it. Mickey nodded, feeling silly but desperate. He leaned toward the vines, his voice gentle. Hey, vines? We're sorry for rushing in. We just want to help the forest sing again. Can you let us go? Please? He held his breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the vines loosened, their grip softening like a sigh. They slithered back into the earth, leaving the trio sprawled on the ground. Peppa blinked, brushing dirt off her dress. Well, that was weirdly easy. Bluey bounced up, clapping. We're vine whisperers. Look, the flower's happy again. The heart bloom glowed brighter, its petals unfurling like a tiny sunrise. The trees hummed a joyful tune, and the air sparkled with fireflies. Mickey scrambled to the book, his fingers brushing the star symbol before he snapped it shut. The heart bloom floated toward them, then dissolved into a swirl of light that sank into the book's pages. Words appeared, curling into a new story about a forest that sang with kindness. Mickey's chest warmed. They'd done it. Their first tale. But before he could celebrate, the forest shimmered, and the ground rippled like water. The book flared, pulling them forward with a whoosh. Colors spun, and when the world steadied, they stood on a riverbank where the water gleamed like a mirror. The sky was a soft purple, dotted with clouds that looked like cotton candy. Reeds swayed, whispering secrets, and the river reflected their faces, except the reflections didn't quite match. Mickey's looked nervous, Peppa's looked bossy, and Bluey's winked like it knew a joke. Well, Bluey said, leaning over the water. My reflections got better dance moves than me. Peppa frowned, poking the river. This place is creepy. Why's my face all grumpy? Mickey clutched the book, its glow steady but faint. Maybe it's another story world. We need to find the next tale. He glanced around, spotting a rickety wooden bridge half hidden in mist, its planks cracked and wobbly. Across it, a faint light twinkled, like a promise. But the bridge looked ready to crumble. Before they could move, ripples spread across the river, and a small, silvery fish popped up, its scales glinting like coins. Hi there, it chirped, its voice bubbly. I'm Finn New York, guardian of the River of Reflections. You're here for a story, right? Mickey nodded, relaxing a little. Finn New York seemed friendly. Yeah, we're trying to fill this book. Can you help? Finn New York flipped in the air, splashing water. Maybe. But the river's out of sorts. The bridge is broken, and without it, no stories flow. Fix it, and I'll share a tale. But be careful, reflections here show what's in your heart, and they don't always play nice. Peppa crossed her arms. Great! A bossy bridge and sassy water. What's next, talking rocks? Bluey giggled. I'd like a talking rock. I'd name it Rocky. Mickey ignored them, studying the bridge. It wasn't just broken, it was wrong, like pieces didn't fit. He stepped closer, and his reflection flickered, showing him frowning, his eyes small and scared. He flinched. Was that really him? Finn New York, he said, how do we fix it? Finn New York swam in a circle. Find the missing plank. It's somewhere along the bank, but the river hides things. Look close, and trust what you see, even if it's tricky. The trio split up, combing the reeds. Bluey sang to herself, poking at shiny pebbles, while Peppa muttered about muddy hooves. Mickey scanned the ground, his reflection trailing him in the water. Every so often, it changed, now confident, now confused. It made his head spin. He wasn't sure he liked what it showed. What if he wasn't brave enough for this? Got something? Bluey called, holding up a wooden plank that shimmered like glass. It was under a weird lily pad. Mickey ran over, hope flaring. The plank felt light, almost alive, and when they carried it to the bridge, it snapped into place like it belonged. The bridge steadied, its cracks fading, but the river churned, and their reflections grew sharper. Mickey's now looked angry, Peppa's impatient, and Bluey's was, crying. Bluey tilted her head. That's not right. I'm happy. Fin New York surfaced, her voice softer. The river shows what you hide. Fix the bridge, but fix your hearts, too. One more plank's missing. Hurry, the story's waiting. Mickey's throat tightened. He glanced at his friends, their faces uneasy. The book glowed faintly, and he swore he saw that star symbol again, etched in the water's ripples. Fin New York's words echoed, fix your hearts. But how? Peppa was already stomping off, determined to find the plank, and Bluey was talking to her reflection like it was a lost puppy. Mickey gripped the book, doubt creeping in. He'd led them here, but what if he was leading them wrong? Then Peppa shouted, over here. She stood by a gnarled tree, pointing at a plank half buried in mud. But as Mickey ran to help, the river surged, and a wave rose, curling like a giant hand. Fin New York's voice rang out. Look out! The wave crashed, and the world tilted. Chapter 4, The Clockwork Castle. The wave from the River of Reflections crashed over Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, cold and sparkly, like liquid starlight. Mickey sputtered, clutching the magic book as the world spun. He braced for a soaking, but when the water cleared, they weren't wet at all. Instead, they stood in a courtyard of gleaming brass and ticking gears, surrounded by towers that puffed steam into a sky streaked with golden clouds. The air smelled of oil and cinnamon, and everywhere, things clicked and whirred, clocks the size of wagons, spinning cogs, and tiny mechanical birds that zipped like dragonflies. Whoa, Bluey whispered, her eyes huge. It's like a giant toy box exploded. Look at that. She pointed at a fountain where water danced in perfect loops, timed to a cheerful tick-tock. Peppa shook her head, hoofs clacking on the cobblestones. This place is bonkers. 1 minute we're about to drown, and now we're, what, in a clock shop. Mickey, your book's got some explaining to do. Mickey hugged the book, its glow steady but softer now. The river's wave had swept them here, but the second plank for the bridge was gone, and Fin New York's warning about fixing their hearts echoed in his mind. He glanced at his friends. Peppa's cheeks were flushed, still annoyed about the water, and Bluey was already chasing a mechanical butterfly. He felt a pang. Was he messing this up? The book was his idea, and now they were in another strange world with no clue what to do. Guys, he said, his voice small, I think we're in another story world. We need to find a new tale for the book. Let's look around. Before they could move, a clatter rang out, and a tiny robot rolled up on squeaky wheels. It was no bigger than a lunchbox, with a shiny dome head and arms that waved like windmills. Its eyes blinked with green lights. "Greetings," it chirped, its voice like a wind-up toy. "I'm Tiki T, assistant to the Clockwork Castle. You're new cogs in the machine, yes? Here for the story?" Mickey blinked. Yeah. I'm Mickey, this is Bluey and Peppa. We need a story for this book. Can you help?" Tiki T spun in a circle, gears whirring. "Help? Oh, heaps of help. But the castle's in a pickle. The grand clock's gone wonky, ticks too fast, talks too slow. Without it, time's all jumbled, and no stories tick properly. Fix the clock, get a tale. Simple as sprockets." Peppa crossed her arms. "Fix a clock. I'm good at jumping puddles, not tinkering with whatever this is." Bluey bounced on her paws. "It's like a puzzle. I love puzzles. Maybe we just give it a big hug and say, 'Work, Clocky.'" Tiki T's eyes flashed red. "No hugging. Precision, please. Follow me to the clock tower. Mind the gears, they bite if you're sloppy." Mickey swallowed, trailing Tiki T through the courtyard. The castle was a maze of spinning wheels and hissing pipes, with staircases that moved on their own and doors that opened to nowhere. Bluey skipped along, inventing names for every gadget, while Peppa muttered about wanting a map. Mickey's stomach twisted. The river's reflections kept haunting him, his face looking scared, unsure. What if he couldn't lead them through this? They reached the clock tower, a soaring spire with a face like a giant pocket watch. Its hands spun wildly, then froze, making the whole castle shudder. Tiki T pointed to a panel at its base, covered in levers and dials. "Here's the heart of it," Tiki T said. 3 gears are missing. Find them, slot them right, and the clock sings true. But hurry, time's tick-tocking away." 3 gears? Peppa groaned. "This place is huge. Where do we even start?" Tiki T's head tilted. "Clue for you, 1 gear's in the maze of mirrors, 1's in the steam gardens, and 1's tricky. Guarded by the story thief's shadow. Watch out for that one." Mickey's ears perked. "Story thief? Who's that?" Tiki T's lights dimmed. "Old tale, half forgotten. Someone who snips stories away. Not my job to gossip, find those gears." It zoomed off, leaving them staring at the panel. Bluey clapped. "A thief. Like a sneaky cat stealing cookies. Let's go on a gear hunt." Mickey hesitated. The word story thief sent a shiver through him. Was that who took the book's tales? He shook it off. "Okay, let's split up. I'll check the maze of mirrors. Peppa, you take the steam gardens. Bluey, stay here and guard the tower." Bluey saluted. "Guard dog Bluey, reporting for duty." Peppa sighed but nodded. "Fine. But if I get lost in some steamy jungle, I'm not happy, Mickey." They scattered, Mickey jogging toward a glittery arch labeled Maze of Mirrors. Inside, walls of glass twisted his reflection into a dozen Mickeys, some tall, some tiny, all staring back. He crept forward, the book glowing faintly. A deer gleamed on a pedestal ahead, but as he reached for it, the mirrors shifted, and his reflection spoke. "You're not enough," it said, its voice sharp. "You'll fail them." Mickey froze, his heart pounding. The gear was right there, but the words stung. He wasn't a hero. Just a kid with a weird book. Meanwhile, Peppa pushed through the steam gardens, where flowers hissed mist and vines curled like springs. She spotted her gear in a fountain, but when she grabbed it, steam swirled, forming her face, snapping, impatient. "Always rushing," it said. "You'll ruin everything." Back at the tower, Bluey hummed, twirling around the panel. But her imagination ran wild, and she started fiddling with dials, pretending they were spaceship controls. The tower groaned, lights flickering. "Oops," she whispered, as gears above clanked ominously. She didn't see the third gear, hidden in shadows, glowing with that same star symbol from the book. Mickey snatched his gear, ignoring the mirror's taunts, and raced back. Peppa burst in, clutching hers, her face pale. "This place is too weird," she said. But before they could slot the gears, Bluey yelped. Guys? I maybe touched something, and now the tower's mad." The floor shook, and a massive gear above them wobbled, ready to fall. Tiki-T zoomed in, lights flashing. "What did you do?" "The third gear's still missing, and now the clock's in chaos." Mickey's eyes darted to the shadows, where the star symbol gleamed. The story thief's gear. It was right there, but something moved nearby, a flicker too quick to catch. Thank you for listening to these incredible stories. Our team would really appreciate it if you give us a like and comment. Your opinion is very important to us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. Chapter 5, The Starlit Plains. The clockwork castle trembled around Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, its gears grinding like an upset stomach. The massive gear overhead wobbled, threatening to crash, while Tiki-T the robot zipped in circles, its lights flashing red. Mickey's heart raced as he spotted the third gear in the shadows, glowing with that mysterious star symbol from the book. But that flicker of movement nearby, a shape too fast to pin down, made his skin prickle. Was it the story thief Tiki-T mentioned? He gripped the magic book, its faint pulse urging him forward. "Bluey, what did you touch?" Peppa snapped, dodging a spark from the tower's panel. Her hooves clacked nervously on the brass floor. Bluey's ears drooped. "I was just playing spaceship. The dials looked so shiny, and I thought, oops." She glanced at the wobbling gear, her tail still wagging. "But we can fix it, right?" Mickey swallowed his frustration. Bluey's imagination was wild, but it wasn't her fault things went haywire. He forced a smile. "Yeah, we'll fix it. That gear in the shadows, it's the last one. I'll grab it." Peppa grabbed his arm. "Not alone, Mickey. Something's watching us." "I saw it, too." Tiki-T whirred closer. "Hurry, Cogs. The clock's heart can't take much more. Slot those gears, or time will tangle forever." Mickey nodded, his stomach twisting. He didn't feel brave, but his friend's wide eyes pushed him on. Together, they crept toward the shadows. The star-marked gear gleamed on a pedestal, but the air felt thick, like it was holding its breath. Mickey reached out, and the flicker came again, a cloaked shape, gone in a blink. His hand shook, but he snatched the gear, its metal warm and humming. "Got it," he called, sprinting back. The trio jammed their gears into the panel, click, clank, thud. The tower groaned, then steadied. The giant gear above slowed, settling into place, and the clock's hands ticked smoothly. A warm glow spilled from the panel, swirling into the book. Words curled onto a new page, telling of a castle where time danced with kindness. The castle hummed happily, its steam puffing in cheerful bursts. Tiki-T's eyes blinked green. "Well done, Cogs. Story's safe." But watch for that shadow, it's no friend of Tails. Before Mickey could ask more, the book flared, and the world spun. Colors swirled, gears faded, and a soft breeze tugged them forward. When the dizziness cleared, they stood on a wide plain under a sky bursting with stars. The grass shimmered silver, swaying like a sea, and fireflies twirled in lazy spirals. The air smelled of warm hay and dreams, and far off, a hill glowed with a single, tiny light. Bluey spun in a circle, her tail a blur. It's like the sky spilled glitter everywhere. Can we stay here forever? Peppa flopped onto the grass, sighing. It's pretty, sure, but I'm tired of popping into random places. Mickey, what's the book saying now? Mickey opened the book, its glow soft but steady. The new story sparkled, but the star symbol lingered on the page, fainter now. We're getting stories back, he said. But that shadow, I think it's following us. Peppa sat up, frowning. Following? Like, on purpose? That's not creepy at all. Before they could puzzle it out, a small, shimmering shape floated down from the sky, a star, no bigger than a baseball, with a gentle glow and a voice like a lullaby. Hello, it said, bobbing in front of them. I'm Stella, a lost light. You're story collectors, aren't you? Mickey's eyes widened. Yeah, I'm Mickey, this is Bluey and Peppa. We're filling this book with tales. Are you, a story? Stella twinkled. Part of one, maybe. I fell from my place up there. She nodded at the sky, where a patch looked oddly dark. Without me, the plains can't sing their lullaby, and the stories fade. Help me home, and I'll give you a tale woven with love. Bluey clapped her paws. A singing star. It's like my bedtime stories, but sparklier. Peppa tilted her head. How do we get you up there? We don't exactly have a ladder to the sky. Stella spun slowly. Follow the starlit path to the Hill of Wishes. Make a wish with pure heart, and I'll soar. But the path twists, it shows what you carry inside. Be honest, or you'll wander. Mickey glanced at the plains, where a faint trail of glowing grass snaked toward the hill. It looked simple, but Stella's words reminded him of the river's reflections, how they showed his doubts. He didn't want to mess this up. Okay, he said. Let's go together. They started down the path, Stella floating beside them. The grass sang softly, a melody that made Mickey's chest ache with memories, reading stories with his mom, laughing with his friends. Bluey hummed along, inventing lyrics about flying dogs, while Peppa marched quietly, her face thoughtful. The path curved, and the stars above seemed to watch, their light warm but curious. As they walked, the trail split, and strange shapes appeared in the grass, glimmering scenes, like movies made of light. One showed Mickey tripping at school, kids giggling. He flinched, his cheeks hot. Another showed Peppa bossing her little brother, her face guilty. Bluey's scene was her drawing alone, looking sad when no one noticed. What is this? Peppa whispered, stepping back. Why's it showing that? Stella's glow softened. The path sees your heart. Things you hide, things you wish away. Face them, and the way stays clear. Mickey's throat tightened. He didn't want to face that moment, the laughter stinging his ears. But he thought of the book, the stories depending on them. Okay, he said, stepping through his scene. The giggles faded, and he felt lighter, like he'd let go of a heavy stone. Peppa followed, her head high, and Bluey skipped through hers, giggling as the sadness dissolved. The path straightened, leading to the hill. They climbed, the grass tickling their feet, and at the top stood a simple stone, glowing faintly. Stella hovered over it. "Make your wish," she said. "One that's true." Bluey went first, closing her eyes. "I wish to share my games with everyone, so no one's lonely." The stone sparkled. Peppa took a breath. "I wish to listen better, so I don't make anyone feel small." The stone glowed brighter. Mickey hesitated, then whispered, "I wish to be brave, for my friends and the stories." The stone blazed, and Stella soared, a streak of light joining the sky. The planes sang, a lullaby that wrapped them like a hug. Light swirled into the book, forming a story of stars and honest hearts. But as they smiled, a shadow flickered at the hill's edge, taller now, with that star symbol glinting in its cloak. It vanished before Mickey could point. The book pulsed, ready for the next world. What was waiting? Chapter 6, The Candy Caverns. The starlit plains faded in a shimmer of light, and Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig felt the magic book tug them forward with a gentle whoosh. Colors swirled, stars blurred, and when the world settled, they stood in a glittering cave where the walls sparkled like sugar crystals. The air smelled of peppermint and warm chocolate, and glowing lollipops sprouted from the ground like flowers. Stalactites dripped with caramel, and a stream of fizzy soda bubbled nearby, giggling as it flowed. It was a candy wonderland, bright and tempting, but Mickey's stomach fluttered. That shadowy figure from the hill, with its star-marked cloak, lingered in his mind. Bluey's eyes went wide, her tail wagging like a propeller. "This is the best place ever. It's like my birthday and a picnic had a baby. Can we eat the walls?" Peppa licked her lips, eyeing a gummy stalagmite. "I'm not saying we should, but it does look yummy." "Mickey, what's the book say? Are we grabbing a story or a snack?" Mickey opened the book, its glow steady but tinged with a new warmth, like it was excited. The starlit story sparkled on its page, but that star symbol flickered again, faint and teasing. "We're here for a story," he said, trying to sound sure. "But this place feels tricky. Let's be careful." Peppa snorted, already inching toward a candy cane archway. "Careful? It's a giant dessert, Mickey. What's gonna happen, a jelly bean attack?" Bluey giggled, skipping after her. "Jelly bean attack? I'd catch them in my mouth." Mickey sighed, trailing them. He wanted to trust the sweetness, but the book's pulse felt like a warning. The cavern stretched deeper, its paths twisting past chocolate boulders and marshmallow mounds. Every step crunched, and the air hummed with a faint, sugary song, like a lullaby made of sprinkles. But something else tickled his ears, a rustle, too soft to place. Was it the shadow again? Before he could warn them, a plump mole popped up from a toffee trapdoor, wearing a chef's hat studded with gumdrops. His whiskers twitched, and his voice was smooth as syrup. "Welcome, little nibblers. I'm Chef Mallow, master of the Candy Caverns. You're here for a story, I bet?" Mickey nodded, relaxing a bit. Chef Mallow seemed friendly, his tiny paws clasped like he was offering a treat. "Yeah, I'm Mickey, this is Bluey and Peppa. We're filling this book with tales. Can you help?" Chef Mallow's eyes glinted. "Oh, I can help. The caverns hold a story sweeter than honey, but the sugar heart's gone dim. It's the cave's core, keeps the magic flowing. Find it, light it up with kindness, and you'll have your tale. Easy as pie." Peppa perked up. A sugar heart? Sounds like my kind of job. Where is it? Chef Mallow pointed a paw down a tunnel lined with jellybean mosaics. Follow the sweet path. But mind the temptations, candy's tricky if you're greedy. Take only what you need. His smile widened, showing sharp little teeth, and Mickey's tummy flipped. Was that a wink? Bluey bounced on her paws. Sweet path. Like a treasure hunt, but tastier. Let's go. Peppa was already marching ahead, sniffing the air. I'm not greedy, but a little nibble won't hurt. Come on, Mickey, stop worrying. Mickey clutched the book, hurrying to keep up. The sweet path glittered, its floor sticky with syrup, and every turn offered something new, cotton candy clouds, licorice vines, a puddle of fizzing sherbet. Bluey sang a made-up song about dancing cupcakes, while Peppa kept grabbing bits of candy, popping them in her mouth. It's fine, she said, chewing a gummy worm. We're supposed to enjoy it, right? Mickey frowned. Chef Mallow said to take only what we need. What if it's a test? Peppa rolled her eyes, grabbing a chocolate pebble. A test? It's dessert, not homework. Relax. But the deeper they went, the stickier the path got, slowing their steps. The sugary song turned sharp, like a warning bell, and the walls pulsed faintly, as if alive. Mickey glanced back, half expecting to see that cloaked shadow, but the tunnel was empty. Still, the book grew warmer, urging him on. At last, they reached a chamber where a crystal heart hung from the ceiling, its glow dull, like a lollipop left in the sun. There it is! Bluey clapped. The sugar heart. It's so pretty, even if it's sleepy. Chef Mallow's words echoed, lighted up with kindness. Mickey stepped closer, the book open in his hands. Maybe we say something nice? Like with the vines? Bluey nodded, her tail wagging. I'll try. Sugar Heart, you're super sweet, and we love how you make this place sparkly. The heart flickered, a tiny glow stirring. Mickey smiled. Good one, Bluey. My turn. Sugar Heart, we're here to help the stories, so everyone can feel your magic. The glow brightened, warmth spreading. Peppa hesitated, a candy shard in her hoof. She'd been munching the whole way, and her cheeks flushed. Sugar Heart, you're, okay, I guess I took too much candy. Sorry. I just want to make things fun. She dropped the shard, and the heart blazed, its light filling the chamber like a sunrise. The walls sang, clear and joyful, and light swirled into the book, forming a story of sweetness shared with care. Mickey beamed. We did it! But Peppa, eager to celebrate, grabbed a glowing toffee from the wall. One last treat, she said, biting it. The floor rumbled, and candy canes shot up like bars, trapping them in a sticky cage. The heart's glow flickered, and Chef Mallow's laugh echoed from the shadows. Greedy hooves, he called. I said take what you need, not what you want. Now you're stuck, unless you trade something precious. Mickey's heart sank. The book pulsed, showing that star symbol again, sharper now. Peppa's eyes widened, guilty, and Bluey hugged her. It's okay, Peppa. We'll fix it. But what could they trade? And why did Chef Mallow's voice sound so familiar, like a whisper from another world? Chapter 7, The Whispering Library. The candy caverns shook around Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, the sticky cage of candy canes glinting like a sugary prison. The sugar heart's glow flickered above, as if scolding them, while Chef Malo's laugh echoed, sharp and sly. "Trade something precious," he'd said, "or stay trapped forever." Mickey clutched the magic book, its warmth pulsing like a worried friend. That star symbol glowed faintly on its page, teasing him with secrets he couldn't untangle. Peppa's hooves fidgeted, her face red with guilt for grabbing that last toffee, and Bluey hugged her tight, humming a wobbly tune to cheer her up. "I'm sorry, guys," Peppa mumbled, kicking a candy cane. "I didn't mean to mess it up. It looked so good." Bluey nuzzled her. "It's okay, Peppa. Candy's sneaky like that. We'll get out, like superheroes in a lollipop comic." Mickey forced a smile, but his tummy churned. Trade something precious? They didn't have much, just the book, their courage, and each other. He glanced at the sugar heart, remembering how kindness lit it up. Maybe that was the key again. "Chef Malo," he called, his voice bouncing off the sugary walls. "We don't have treasures, but we'll share something else. We promise to be kinder, to listen better. Isn't that worth something?" The laughter stopped. For a moment, the cavern was silent, then the candy canes shivered, melting into syrup that pooled at their feet. The sugar heart blazed, its song clear and sweet, and Chef Malo's voice came softer now, almost sad. "Kindness is a start, kid. Take your story and go. But the book's secrets aren't mine to spill." A swirl of light flowed from the heart into the book, etching a tale of sharing and second chances. Mickey's chest warmed, but that star symbol lingered, sharper, like it was watching. Before he could think, the cavern shimmered, and the book flared, pulling them forward. Colors spun, sugar dissolved, and a cool breeze wrapped around them. When the world steadied, they stood in a vast library, its shelves towering like giants under a ceiling of twinkling lanterns. Books lined every wall, their covers glinting in colors no one could name, and the air smelled of ink and old adventures. Pages rustled softly, as if whispering secrets to each other, and a faint hum filled the space, like a song with no words. Bluey spun in a circle, her tail wagging. "It's a book jungle. I bet there's a story about a dancing pancake in here somewhere." Peppa brushed her hooves, still sticky from the cavern. "This is more like it. No candy traps, just books." "But, Mickey, what's our job now? Find another story?" Mickey opened the book, its glow steady but curious, like it was sniffing out the library. The candy story sparkled on its page, but no new words appeared. "I think so," he said, glancing around. "But this place feels alive. Like it's waiting for us to do something." As if answering, a book fluttered off a shelf, landing at their feet with a soft thud. Its cover was plain, no title, but when Mickey touched it, it giggled, then spoke in a squeaky voice. "Hi there. I'm Pagai, one of the Whispering Library's helpers. You're the story collectors, right? Oh, we've been waiting for you." Peppa jumped back. "A talking book? Okay, that's new, even for us." Bluey clapped her paws. "Hi, Pagai. You're so cute. Do you know stories about flying dogs?" Pagai's pages ruffled, like it was blushing. "Lots of stories, Pop. But the library's in a tizzy. Our story flame, it's what keeps tales alive, is fading. Without it, the books forget their words. Help us light it, and you'll get a story for your shiny book." Mickey's heart lifted. Another chance to help. Where's the story flame? And how do we light it? Pagai flipped open, showing a map of winding aisles and hidden rooms. It's deep in the heart vault, but getting there's tricky. The library tests you, shows what you're afraid to face. Be honest, or you'll get lost in the stacks forever. Its voice dropped. And watch out. Some shadows here don't like new stories. Mickey's throat tightened. Shadows again. He thought of the cloaked figure, its star symbol matching the books. Thanks, Pagai, he said. We'll be careful. They followed the map, weaving through shelves that seemed to shift when they blinked. Books whispered as they passed, snippets of tales about brave knights, clever foxes, and faraway stars. Bluey tried to grab one, but it snapped shut, huffing. Rude, she giggled, skipping on. Peppa stayed close, her eyes darting to every rustle, still shaken from the cavern. The aisles led to a spiral staircase, its steps carved with tiny letters that glowed. At the bottom, a golden door marked Heart Vault shimmered, but a riddle pulsed above it, unfull of tales, yet silent. I hold dreams, yet sleep. What am I? Mickey read it aloud, his brow furrowing. Silent, dreams, is it a book? Pagai, tucked under his arm, squeaked. Good guess, but think bigger. Something all stories need. Peppa tapped her hoof. A library? It's got tons of tales and it's quiet. Bluey bounced. Ooh, a heart. Like, it's full of dreams and doesn't talk. Mickey nodded slowly. Maybe imagination? It holds stories and dreams, but it's silent until you use it. He faced the door. Imagination. The letters glowed, and the door creaked open, revealing a chamber where a tiny flame flickered on a pedestal, its light weak but warm. That's it. Pagai chirped. The story flame. Feed it truth, and it'll blaze. Mickey stepped closer, but the flame's glow showed his shadow on the wall, small, hunched, like the scared kid he hid inside. He froze. What truth could he share? That he was afraid of failing his friends? Peppa's shadow appeared, stiff and proud, and Bluey's danced wildly, too big for her small frame. Peppa gulped. This is like the river again. Showing stuff I don't want to see. Bluey hugged herself. Mine's fun, but maybe too much? Like I'm hiding behind it? Mickey took a breath. I'll go first. Story flame, I'm scared I'm not enough to lead. But I'm trying, for the stories and my friends. The flame sparked, growing brighter. Peppa went next, her voice soft. I act bossy sometimes, but I just want to help. The flame leaped. Bluey grinned. I make everything a game, but I want to be brave for real. The flame roared, filling the vault with light. Words swirled into Mickey's book, a story of truth lighting the way. But as they turned to leave, a book fell from a shelf, its pages opened to that star symbol, now sharp and clear. A whisper hissed, not Pagai's. You're close, but not close enough. The vault door slammed shut, trapping them inside. Chapter 8, The Floating Isles. The golden door of the Heart Vault slammed shut, trapping Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig in a glow of flickering light. The story flame blazed on its pedestal, casting their shadows across the whispering library's walls, but that eerie whisper, "You're close, but not close enough," hung in the air like a chilly fog. Mickey clutched the magic book, its new story of truth sparkling on the page, but that star symbol glowed sharper now, almost mocking. Pagai, the talking book tucked under his arm, shivered, its pages fluttering. Oh no, Peggy squeaked. The vault's never locked before. Something's meddling, and it's not a friendly footnote. Peppa banged a hoof on the door. Great. First candy traps, now book jails. Mickey, what's going on? That whisper didn't sound like a librarian. Bluey twirled, her tail wagging nervously. Maybe it's a shy story playing hide-and-seek. We just need to say, Ollie Ollie oxen free, right? Mickey's heart thudded. The whisper felt too much like the shadow they'd glimpsed before, with its star-marked cloak. He took a shaky breath, trying to stay calm for his friends. Let's think. The story flame liked our truth. Maybe the door wants something like that, too. He faced the door, its surface etched with tiny letters that shimmered. Door? We're here to help the stories. Please let us out. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the letters glowed, forming words. Trust opens the way. The door creaked, inching open, and a warm breeze slipped through, smelling of clouds and freedom. Peggy sighed. You're naturals. But hurry, the library doesn't like lingerers. They slipped out, the vault ceiling behind them. But before Mickey could relax, the library shimmered, shelves spinning like a kaleidoscope. The book flared in his hands, pulling them forward with a whoosh. Colors swirled, whispers faded, and when the world steadied, they stood on a grassy island floating in a sky of endless blue. Puffy clouds drifted below, and other islands hovered nearby, connected by rickety rope bridges that swayed in the breeze. Waterfalls spilled off the edges, turning to mist, and the air sparkled with tiny, glowing moths. Bluey gasped, her eyes huge. We're in the sky. It's like my flying dream, but with better snacks. She pointed at a tree heavy with golden berries, their scent sweet as honey. Peppa gripped the grass, her hoofs unsteady. Sky Islands? Nope, not a fan. One wrong step, and we're cloud pancakes. Mickey, tell me the book's got a plan. Mickey opened the book, its glow bright but restless, like it was eager to explore. The library story glimmered, but no new clues appeared. We need another story, he said, scanning the islands. Something here's waiting for us. His voice wavered. The vault's whisper had shaken him, and the shadow's star kept nagging at his mind. What if they were walking into a trap? A cheerful squawk broke his thoughts. A small bird swooped down, its feathers a mix of sunset colors, pink, orange, blue. It landed on a rock, tilting its head. Hi-lo. I'm Flicker, guide of the floating isles. You're the book kids, yeah? Chasing stories? Mickey nodded, relaxing a little. Flicker's voice was bubbly, like a friend you'd known forever. I'm Mickey, this is Bluey and Peppa. We're filling this book with tales. Can you help? Flicker flapped her wings. Sure can. The Isles need a story, but the wind chime's gone quiet. It's what keeps us floating, singing tales to the sky. Fix it, and you'll get a story full of trust. Follow me. She zipped toward a bridge, its ropes creaking ominously. Peppa gulped. Trust? On that? I trust solid ground, not wobbly strings. Bluey bounced after Flicker. It's an adventure, Peppa. Like swinging on a giant spiderweb. Mickey tucked the book under his arm, his tummy flipping. The bridges looked risky, but Flicker's cheer gave him hope. They crossed the first one, gripping the ropes as it swayed. Bluey sang a silly song about flying pigs, making Peppa giggle despite her nerves. The next island was bigger, with a stone circle where a giant chime hung, its bars silent and dull. Vines tangled it, and the air felt heavy, like a held breath. Flicker perched on the chime. The wind chime needs 3 keys: trust, courage, and care. They're scattered on the aisles. Find them, free the chime, and the story's yours. But the aisles test you. They float on what you believe. Mickey glanced at his friends. Okay, let's split up again. I'll look for trust. Peppa, try courage. Bluey, you take care. Peppa sighed but nodded. Fine, but if I fall into a cloud, I'm haunting you, Mickey. Bluey saluted. Care's my favorite. I'll hug every tree till I find it. They spread out, crossing swaying bridges to different aisles. Mickey reached one with a glowing pond, where a key shimmered underwater, labeled Trust. He leaned in, but the water rippled, showing his face, doubtful, small. You can't trust yourself, it whispered. His chest tightened. He wasn't a leader, not really. But he thought of his friends, their smiles, and plunged his hand in. The key was his, cold and true. Peppa climbed a rocky aisle, finding the courage key in a nest guarded by swirling winds. They howled, "You're too bossy to be brave." She froze, then puffed out her chest, grabbing the key as the winds faded. Bluey danced across a flower-filled aisle, spotting the care key under a sad sapling. She sang to it, watering its roots with pond water, and the key bloomed free. They met at the chime, keys in hand. But as they slotted them in, the vines tightened, and Flicker squawked. Oh, crumbs! The aisles don't trust yet, you've gotta mean it. The ground tilted, and the bridge to the next aisle snapped, leaving them stranded. Mickey's eyes caught a flicker, a cloaked shadow on a distant aisle, its star symbol glinting. The book pulsed, urgent. The chime stayed silent. Chapter 9, The Crystal Maze. The floating aisles quaked beneath Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, the wind chime's silent bars tangled in stubborn vines. The snapped bridge dangled uselessly, stranding them on the grassy island as clouds swirled below. Flicker the bird flapped her sunset-colored wings, her squawk sharp with worry. The aisles need more trust, she cried. Mickey's heart thudded, his eyes locked on that cloaked shadow across the gap, its star symbol glinting before it vanished. The magic book pulsed in his hands, warm and restless, urging him to act. But doubt gnawed at him. Could he really lead his friends through this? Bluey hugged the chime, her tail drooping. Poor chime. It's all tied up, like my shoelaces when I'm in a hurry. What do we do, Mickey? Peppa kicked a pebble, her hooves unsteady on the tilting ground. Yeah, Mickey, your book's great at dropping us in messes. Got a fix for falling islands? Mickey swallowed, his cheeks hot. Peppa's words stung, but she wasn't wrong. The book's stories felt heavier each time, and that shadow kept creeping closer. He opened the book, its glow steady but flickering, like a candle in a breeze. The starlit tail sparkled, but the star symbol pulsed again, sharper, almost alive. Flicker said trust, he said softly. Maybe we need to trust each other. Really mean it. Bluey's ears perked. Like a team hug? I'm great at those. Peppa sighed, but her eyes softened. Fine. I trust you guys. Even if we're stuck in a sky trap. Mickey took their hands, his voice shaky but firm. I trust you, too. Bluey, you make everything brighter. Peppa, you're strong, even when you're grumpy. Together, we'll fix this. The chime hummed, a single note, and the vines loosened. The keys, trust, courage, care, glowed, and the bars sang, a melody like wind and laughter. Light swirled into the book, weaving a story of bonds that lift you up. The island steadied, and a new bridge shimmered into place, its ropes sparkling. Flicked her cheered. That's it. Story's safe. But keep sharp, shadows love to tug at trust. Her words hung as the book flared, pulling them forward. Colors spun, clouds faded, and a cool tingle wrapped them. When the world cleared, they stood in a maze of crystal walls, each one clear as glass but reflecting their faces in strange ways. The air shimmered with a soft hum, like a faraway bell, and the ground glowed faintly, pulsing under their feet. It smelled of frost and secrets. Bluey spun, her reflection winking back. Whoa! It's like a sparkly fun house. Look, I've got 10 tails in that one. Peppa tapped a wall, her hoof clinking. Funhouse? More like a headache. These reflections are all twisty. Mickey, where are we now? Mickey clutched the book, its glow bright but uneasy, like it sensed something hiding. Another story world, he said, peering down a crystal corridor. The maze stretched endlessly, paths splitting and curling back on themselves. His reflection showed him small, eyes wide, and he flinched. It reminded him of the river, showing truths he didn't like. We need to find the story here. Let's stick together. Before they could move, a soft rustle echoed, and a creature slunk from a side path, a cat, sleek and silver, with eyes like polished gems. It sat, tail curling, and spoke in a purr. Welcome, little wanderers. I'm Glimmare, keeper of the crystal maze. You seek a story, yes? Mickey nodded, his nerves easing at Glimmare's calm voice. I'm Mickey, this is Bluey and Peppa. We're filling this book with tales. Can you help? Glimmare's eyes gleamed. The maze holds a story, but its heart, the crystal bloom, is dim. It shines with patience, but it's tangled in doubts. Free it, and the story's yours. Follow the paths, but beware, the maze mirrors your fears. Rush, and you'll lose your way. Peppa groaned. Patience? I'm not great at that. Can't we just smash a wall and grab it? Bluey giggled. Smashy Peppa. But I bet the maze would get grumpy. Let's explore, like detectives in a glitter cave. Mickey forced a smile, but Glimmare's words sank in. Patience wasn't his strength either, not when he felt rushed to save the book. They started down a path, the crystal walls reflecting their every move. Mickey's face looked worried, Peppa's impatient, and Bluey's danced with too many ideas. The maze twisted, splitting into 3 tunnels, each glowing faintly. Let's try this one, Mickey said, picking the left path. But as they walked, the reflections grew sharper, showing moments they'd rather forget, Mickey freezing when a teacher called on him, Peppa snapping at a friend, Bluey hiding a bad grade. Peppa stopped, her host trembling. This is awful, she whispered. Why is it showing me being mean? Glimmare appeared beside them, silent as a shadow. The maze sees what you carry. Face it with patience, not anger, and the bloom will show itself. Mickey took Peppa's hoof. We'll do it together. I'm scared of messing up, too. They moved slower, breathing deep. The reflections softened, showing kinder moments, Mickey helping a kid with homework, Peppa sharing a toy. The path opened to a chamber where the crystal bloom floated, a flower of light wrapped in thorny shadows. There! Bluey clapped. It's so pretty, like a star made of glass. Peppa stepped forward, then paused, her usual rush gone. Okay, Bloom. I'm trying to be patient. Show us your story. The thorns faded, and the bloom glowed, its light warm and steady. Words flowed into the book, a tale of waiting for the right moment. Mickey grinned, relief flooding him. But as they turned to leave, a crystal wall flickered, revealing that star symbol, etched deep. A shadow moved behind it, cloaked and silent, then gone. The maze hummed louder, and Glimmer's purr came soft. You're near the truth, but it's slippery. Watch close. The ground trembled, and a wall slid shut, blocking their path. Chapter 10, The Forgotten Fair. The crystal maze quivered around Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, the sliding wall sealing them in with a dull thud. The crystal bloom's glow pulsed softly, casting light on the star symbol etched in the wall, its edges sharp and taunting. Glimmer the cat's warning, you're near the truth, but it's slippery, echoed in Mickey's ears, and the fleeting shadow he'd seen sent a shiver through him. He gripped the magic book, its warmth steady but urgent, like a friend tugging his sleeve. The maze's hum grew louder, almost impatient, and Mickey's heart raced. Were they closer to the shadow's secret, or just lost again? Bluey pressed her nose to the wall, her tail wagging. It's like a puzzle box. Maybe we tickle it, and it pops open. Tickle, tickle. She giggled, pawing the crystal. Peppa sighed, her hoofs tapping nervously. Bluey, it's not a toy. Mickey, that symbol's the same one from before, right? This is getting creepy. What's the book want now? Mickey opened the book, its glow bright but flickering, like it was thinking. The maze's story of patience shimmered on the page, but that star symbol pulsed again, bold and restless. We got the story, he said, his voice wobbly. But I think the maze wants something else. Glimmer said to watch close. Maybe we need to look at the symbol? Peppa frowned. Look at it. It's just a fancy star. Unless it's gonna sing us a clue, I'm stumped. Bluey's ears perked. Ooh, singing stars. But maybe we say sorry to the maze? Like, sorry we got stuck, pretty please let us out. Mickey bit his lip, stepping closer to the wall. The symbol seemed to shimmer, almost alive. He touched it, half expecting a shock, but the crystal warmed, and words appeared, see with your heart. The wall trembled, then slid open, revealing the maze's exit. Glimmer's purr echoed faintly. Well done, wanderers. But the path twists tighter now. They hurried out, the maze dissolving in a sparkle of light. The book flared, pulling them forward with a whoosh. Colors spun, crystals faded, and a dusty breeze wrapped them. When the world cleared, they stood at the edge of a deserted fairground, its rides creaking under a twilight sky. A Ferris wheel loomed, half broken, its lights dim. Stalls sagged with tattered banners, and a carousel spun slowly, its horses silent. The air smelled of popcorn and rust, and a faint tune drifted, like a memory of laughter gone quiet. Bluey's tail drooped. This place is sad. Like a party everyone forgot. Where's the cotton candy? Peppa shivered, staying close. It's spooky, Bluey. Empty fairs are not my thing. Mickey, tell me we're not staying long. Mickey clutched the book, its glow soft but curious, like it was sniffing out the fair's secrets. We're here for a story, he said, scanning the shadows. The star symbol lingered in his mind, and Glimmer's words about a twisty path made his tummy flip. Let's look around. Something's waiting. A soft clatter broke the silence, and a figure wobbled from behind a ticket booth, a puppet, no taller than Bluey, with a painted smile and button eyes. It wore a jester's hat, bells jingling faintly. "Hi-lo," it squeaked, its voice creaky but warm. "I'm Jingless, last clown of the Forgotten Fair. You're here for a story, aren't you?" Mickey relaxed a bit. Jingless seemed harmless, even if the fair felt eerie. "Yeah, I'm Mickey, this is Bluey and Peppa. We're filling this book with tales. Can you help?" Jingless tipped its hat, bells chiming. "Oh, I'd love to. The fair's got a story, but its heart, the laughing lantern, is dark. It used to light up smiles, but now it's lost in the Hall of Games. Find it, share some joy, and you'll have your tale. But the fair remembers old hurts. Play fair, or it'll trick you." Peppa crossed her arms. "Games? I'm good at ring toss, but this place looks like it cheats." Bluey bounced. "Tricky games sound fun. Like hide and seek with a sneaky balloon." Mickey nodded, though his chest tightened. "Old hurts?" That sounded too much like the Shadow's trail. They followed Jingless through the fair, past sagging tents and a dunk tank filled with murky water. The carousel's tune grew sadder, and Mickey swore he saw a flicker in the distance, that cloaked shape, star symbol glinting, then gone. He didn't tell the others. They were nervous enough. The Hall of Games was a rickety barn, its doors open to a maze of stalls, ring toss, balloon darts, a claw machine with no prizes. At the center, a dusty lantern hung, its glass cracked and dark. Jingless pointed. "The laughing lantern. Win 3 tokens from the games, light it with fun, and the story's yours. But the games test your heart. Cheat, and they bite." Mickey gulped. "Okay, let's each try a game. I'll take ring toss. Peppa, you do darts. Bluey, maybe the claw machine?" Peppa sighed. "Darts it is. But if I get a splinter, I'm done." Bluey skipped to the claw machine. "I'm gonna win a token and name it Sparkly." They split up, the barn's shadows shifting. Mickey tossed rings, but they bounced off, as if pushed. A whisper taunted, "You'll never win." He focused, thinking of his friend's laughter, and landed a ring, clink, a token. Peppa aimed darts, but they swerved, the board hissing, "You're too proud." She took a breath, aimed true, and won her token. Bluey worked the claw, but it dropped empty, giggling, "Too silly." She sang to it, steadying her paws, and snagged a token. They met at the lantern, tokens gleaming. But as they placed them, the barn shook, and Jingless gasped. "Oh no! The fair's not happy yet, you've got to mean it." Shadows swirled, and the game stall tipped, blocking the exit. Mickey's eyes caught that star symbol, scratched on the lantern's base, and a laugh, not Jingless, echoed. The fair wasn't letting go. Chapter 11, The Golden Orchard. The Forgotten Fair groaned around Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, the Hall of Games trembling as shadows swirled. The laughing lantern flickered weakly, its tokens glowing in their hands, but the tipped stall blocked the exit, trapping them inside. Jingless the puppet's bells jingled nervously, his painted eyes wide. "The fair needs more joy," he squeaked. Mickey clutched the magic book, its pulse quick and warm, like a heartbeat. That star symbol on the lantern's base burned in his mind, matching the shadow's cloak he'd seen too many times. The laugh that wasn't Jingless lingered, cold and sharp, making his tummy twist. Bluey hugged the lantern, her tail wagging slowly. Poor Fair. It's like when my games get all grumpy. Maybe we need to tell it a joke. Peppa kicked at the stall, her hoofs scuffing. Jokes? Bluey, we're stuck in a creepy barn. Mickey, that symbol's back. Is your book trying to tell us something, or just being annoying? Mickey opened the book, its glow bright but restless, like it was tugging him toward an answer. The fair's story of joy wasn't there yet, and the star symbol pulsed, bold and teasing. I think we need to make the lantern happy, he said, his voice shaky. Jingless said share fun. Maybe we play for real, not just to win. Peppa frowned. Play? Like, for no reason? That's not getting us out. Bluey's ears perked. Ooh, like when I make silly faces with my sister. Let's try. She stuck out her tongue, crossing her eyes, and giggled. The lantern sparked, a tiny laugh echoing. Mickey smiled, hope flickering. That's it. Let's show the fair we mean it. He tossed a ring at the stall, not aiming, just laughing as it bounced. Peppa hesitated, then threw a dart, grinning when it stuck in the wall. Bluey danced around the claw machine, singing about wobbly puppets. The barn's shadows softened, and the lantern blazed, its light warm and bubbly. Light swirled into the book, weaving a story of laughter shared freely. The stall creaked upright, the exit clear. Jingless clapped his wooden hands. You did it! Story's safe. But watch those shadows, they don't like happy endings. His words hung as the book flared, pulling them forward. Colors spun, the fair dissolved, and a sweet breeze wrapped them. When the world steadied, they stood in an orchard where trees glittered with golden apples, their branches heavy under a sunrise sky. The grass was soft as a blanket, and bees hummed a lazy tune, darting between flowers that smelled of honey and dreams. Bluey spun, her tail a blur. It's like a shiny picnic. Look at those apples. Can we eat one, Mickey? Pretty please? Peppa reached for a low branch, then stopped, her hoofs twitching. Hold on, Bluey. After the candy mess, I'm not touching anything till we know it's safe. Mickey, what's the deal here? Mickey clutched the book, its glow calm but curious, like it was tasting the orchard's air. The fair's story sparkled, but no new words appeared. We're here for another story, he said, scanning the trees. The apples gleamed, almost too perfect, and he remembered Chef Mallo's warning about greed. Let's be careful. This place feels tempting. A soft rustle broke the quiet, and a fox stepped from the trees, her fur red as autumn and her eyes kind but sharp. She carried a woven basket, empty but polished. "Hi-lo, young travelers," she said, her voice smooth as a lullaby. "I'm Foxley, keeper of the Golden Orchard. You seek a story for that book, don't you?" Mickey nodded, easing at Foxley's gentle tone. "Yeah, I'm Mickey, this is Bluey and Peppa. We're collecting tales. Can you help?" Foxley's tail swished. "The orchard has a story, but its heart, the amber seed, is buried deep, lost to greed. Find it, plant it with generosity, and the tale will bloom. But the apples tempt, take only what you need, or the orchard hides its secrets." She set the basket down. "Fill this, but choose wisely." Peppa's eyes narrowed. "Take what we need?" "I've heard that before." No offense, Foxley, but what's the catch? Bluey bounced. Maybe it's a sharing game. Like when I split my cookies with Bingo? Mickey gripped the book, his mind flashing to the Shadow's star. Foxley's words felt like a test, and he didn't want to fail. Okay, let's find the seed. But no grabbing apples unless we're sure. They followed Foxley through the orchard, the trees whispering as they passed. The apples glowed, some low enough to pluck, and Bluey's paws twitched, but she hummed to distract herself. Peppa stayed close, her face tight, still guilty from the candy trap. The path led to a clearing where a gnarled tree stood, its branches bare. A faint glow pulsed in the soil beneath, maybe the amber seed. Foxley nodded. Dig there, but the orchard watches. Share what you find. Mickey knelt, scooping dirt with his hands. The glow grew, revealing a tiny, amber-colored seed, warm as a pebble in the sun. But as he held it, the apples above sparkled brighter, and a whisper, not Foxley's, hissed, "Take them. You deserve more." Bluey gasped, pointing at a tree where apples piled up, begging to be grabbed. "They're so pretty," Bluey said, then shook her head. "But, we don't need them, right?" Peppa bit her lip, her hoof hovering near an apple. "It's just one. We earned it, didn't we?" Her voice wavered, fighting the urge. Mickey's chest tightened. The whisper sounded like the Shadow's laugh in the fair. He held the seed tighter. "No. We plant this, like Foxley said." He placed it in the basket, then buried it under the tree. "For the orchard, not us." The ground glowed, and a sapling sprouted, its leaves golden. Light swirled into the book, forming a story of giving without taking. The apples dimmed, their temptation gone. Foxley smiled. "Well chosen. The story's yours." But her eyes flicked to the trees, where a shadow moved, cloaked, star-marked, closer than ever. It vanished, but the book pulsed, and Foxley's voice dropped. "The orchard sees greed, but also truth. You're near something big." The sapling shivered, and roots curled around their feet, pulling tight. Chapter 12, The Stormy Sea. The golden orchard hummed softly, but the roots of the new sapling tightened around Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, curling like gentle but stubborn fingers. The amber seed story glowed in the magic book, a tale of giving without taking, yet the star symbol pulsed sharper on its page, as if daring Mickey to notice. Foxley's warning, "You're near something big," rang in his ears, and the glimpse of that cloaked shadow, its star glinting, made his heart thump. The orchard's golden apples no longer tempted, but the air felt heavy, like a secret waiting to spill. Bluey wiggled, her tail flicking dirt. "These roots are huggy, but not the fun kind. Do we say, 'Pretty please,' to get free?" Peppa tugged at her hooves, frowning. "Huggy? They're grabby, Bluey." "Mickey, that shadow was close this time. Is your book playing tricks, or what?" Mickey clutched the book, its warmth steady but tingling, like it knew something he didn't. He glanced at the sapling, its leaves shimmering. Foxley watched them, her fox eyes kind but searching. "The orchard tests," she'd said. Maybe this was another one. "Let's try being honest, like before," he said softly. Roots? We planted the seed to help, not to take. We want to keep the stories safe. Can you let us go?" The roots quivered, then loosened, sinking back into the soil. The sapling glowed brighter, and Foxley's tail swished. "You learn fast, little ones." The story's yours, but the path grows wilder. Her words lingered as the orchard shimmered, and the book flared, pulling them forward with a whoosh. Colors spun, apples faded, and a salty breeze stung their noses. When the world steadied, they stood on a rocky shore, waves crashing against cliffs under a sky thick with storm clouds. Lightning flickered, and a wooden raft bobbed nearby, tethered to a post. Bluey gasped, her ears flapping in the wind. "It's a pirate adventure!" "Arr, mateys! Where's our ship?" She hopped toward the raft, then froze as thunder rumbled. Peppa gripped a rock, her hooves slipping on wet stone. "Pirates? Bluey, this is a mess waiting to happen." "Mickey, tell me we're not sailing in that storm." Mickey opened the book, its glow strong but restless, like it was bracing for a challenge. The orchard story sparkled, but the star symbol burned now, almost alive. "We're here for another story," he said, his voice nearly lost in the wind. "But this place feels big. Like it's testing us harder." His tummy twisted. The shadow was getting closer, and he wasn't sure he was ready for what it wanted. A splash broke his thoughts, and a mermaid surfaced near the raft, her tail shimmering like sea glass. Her hair flowed like kelp, and her voice was clear, cutting through the storm. "Hi-lo, land walkers. I'm Maris, guardian of the stormy sea. You're after a story, aren't you?" Mickey nodded, easing at Marisa's bright smile. "Yeah, I'm Mickey, this is Bluey and Peppa. We're filling this book with tales. Can you help?" Maris flipped her tail, spraying foam. "The sea's got a story, but its heart, the tide pearl, is lost in the deep hollow. It shines with courage, but storms guard it. Sail to it, face the waves, and the tale's yours. But the sea sees fear, hide it, and you'll sink." She pointed to the raft. "That's your way. Trust it." Peppa's eyes widened. "Sail? On that? It's a pile of sticks. We'll be fish food in 10 seconds." Bluey bounced, undeterred. "Sticks are awesome. It's like my fort at home, but floaty. Let's be brave sailors." Mickey gripped the book, his heart pounding. The raft looked flimsy, and the storm roared, but Marisa's words, "Face the waves," stuck with him. He thought of the shadow, always watching. They had to keep going. "Okay," he said. "We'll sail together. For the story." They climbed onto the raft, Bluey humming a sea shanty, Peppa muttering about wet fur. Mickey untied the rope, and the waves pulled them out, rocking the raft like a cradle in a tantrum. Lightning lit the sky, showing a jagged island far off, the deep hollow, maybe. Maris swam beside them, her tail flashing. "Steer true," she called. "The pearl's worth it." The storm grew wilder, waves splashing over the raft. Mickey's reflection in the water showed him trembling, eyes small. He gripped the book, whispering, "We can do this." Peppa held a rope, her face pale but set, while Bluey tied a vine to keep them steady, giggling through the spray. The raft spun, and a wave loomed, tall as a house. "Hold on!" Mickey shouted. They clung together, and the wave crashed, but the raft held, bobbing like a cork. The island loomed closer, its caves glowing faintly. Maris surfaced, her voice urgent. "You're near. But the hollow tests courage. Speak your fears, or it'll swallow you." They scrambled ashore, the cave's mouth dark and dripping. Inside, a pool glowed, and a pearl the size of an apple floated above it, shimmering like moonlight. But shadows danced on the walls, Mickey's fear of failing, Peppa's worry of letting others down, Bluey's dread of being ignored. Peppa froze. This is worse than the maze. Bluey hugged her. We'll be brave together. Like superheroes in raincoats. Mickey stepped forward, his voice shaking. Tide Pearl, I'm scared I'll mess this up, but I'm here for my friends. The pearl glowed. Peppa swallowed. I'm afraid I'm not enough, but I'll try. The glow brightened. Bluey grinned. I worry no one sees me, but I'll shine anyway. The pearl blazed, and light swirled into the book, a story of courage against the storm. But as they reached for it, the cave shook, and Mars gasped. The sea's angry, you stirred its heart. A shadow loomed at the cave's mouth, cloaked, its star symbol clear. It didn't vanish this time. The tide surged, pulling the raft away. Chapter 13, The Mountain of Echoes. The stormy sea roared around Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, the deep hollows cave trembling as waves surged inside. The Tide Pearl's story of courage glowed in the magic book, but the cloaked shadow at the cave's mouth stood firm, its star symbol glinting like a cold eye. Mars the mermaid's warning, the sea's angry. Mixed with the crash of water, and their raft, their only way back, spun away into the storm. Mickey's heart pounded, the book warm in his hands, its pulse quick and sharp, like it knew the shadow wasn't just watching anymore. He wanted to shout, to run, but his feet felt glued to the wet stone. Bluey clung to a stalactite, her tail soaked. That shadow's not playing hide-and-seek anymore. Is it gonna say hi or just stare? Peppa grabbed Bluey's paw, her eyes wide. Mickey, that's the creepiest thing yet. Your book's leading us to that. What do we do? Mickey opened the book, its glow fierce but shaky, like a lantern in a gale. The sea's story sparkled, but the star symbol burned now, almost calling the shadow closer. Mars said we stirred the sea's heart, he said, his voice barely above the waves. Maybe we face it. The shadow's part of this, right? His tummy flipped. Face it? He wasn't brave like that, but the book's stories, kindness, trust, courage, pushed him on. Mars surfaced in the pool, her tail flicking. You've got the story, but the sea sees truth. Speak to the shadow, name your heart, or it'll take more than your raft. Her voice was urgent, her eyes on the cloaked figure. Mickey took a step, his knees wobbly. Shadow? We're not here to hurt anything. We just want to save the stories. Please, let us go. The shadow tilted its head, silent, but the waves calmed slightly. Peppa gulped, joining him. Yeah, I mess up sometimes, but I'm trying to help. Bluey bounced forward. And I'm here to make things fun, not scary. The shadow flickered, its cloak thinning, and the raft bobbed back, nudging the shore. Mars smiled. Well done. The story's yours, but the tide's turning. Hurry. The shadow vanished, but its star lingered in Mickey's mind as the book flared, pulling them forward. Colors spun, waves faded, and a crisp breeze wrapped them. When the world steadied, they stood on a rocky path winding up a mountain, its peaks hidden in mist. Pebbles glowed faintly, and the air hummed with echoes, soft whispers, giggles, sighs, that bounced off the cliffs. It smelled of pine and mystery. Bluey spun, her ears catching the sounds. It's like the mountains chatting. Listen, that echo sounds like my laugh when I find a good stick. Peppa shivered, her hooves crunching gravel. Chatting? It's spooky, Bluey. Those echoes sound personal. Mickey, where's your book taking us now? Mickey opened the book, its glow steady but heavy, like it carried the sea's weight. The courage story shimmered, but the star symbol pulsed, clearer than ever. Another story, he said, scanning the path. But this place feels deep. Like it's listening. His voice echoed back, listening, listening, and he flinched. The shadow's nearness in the cave scared him. Was it still close? A soft bleat broke the quiet, and a goat appeared, her fur white as snow, with eyes wise and warm. She carried a lantern that swayed, casting light on the rocks. "Hi-lo, young climbers," she said, her voice like a cozy blanket. "I'm Gleena, keeper of the Mountain of Echoes. You seek a story, yes?" Mickey nodded, easing at Gleena's gentle tone. "I'm Mickey, this is Bluey and Peppa. We're filling this book with tales. Can you help?" Gleena's lantern bobbed. "The mountain holds a story, but its heart, the echo stone, is quiet. It sings with honesty, but doubts muffle it. Find it, speak true, and the tale will ring clear. But the echoes show what you hide, face them, or the path loops forever." She pointed up the trail, where mist swirled thicker. Peppa groaned. "Honesty? Again? I'm running out of secrets to spill." Bluey bounced. "It's like a truth game. I'll tell the mountain I love pancakes and waffles." Mickey gripped the book, Gleena's words sinking in. Honesty meant facing things he buried, like his fear of letting his friends down. They started up the path, the echoes growing louder. Mickey's steps sounded scared, scared, Peppa's bossy, bossy, Bluey's silly, silly. The mist parted, revealing a fork, 3 paths, each glowing faintly. "Let's try the middle," Mickey said, his voice echoing unsure, unsure. The path twisted, and the echoes turned sharper, like voices from their past. Mickey heard his own, "I can't do it," from a time he gave up. Peppa winced at, "Do it my way." Bluey giggled, then paused at, "Nobody's watching." Gleena appeared beside them, her lantern steady. "The mountain hears what you hold tight. Name it, and the stone will show." Mickey's throat tightened. "Okay. I'm afraid I'll fail you guys. I want to be a good friend." The echo softened, "Friend, friend." Peppa took a breath. "I push too hard sometimes, but I care. Care, care." Bluey hugged them. "I act goofy to be seen, but I'm enough. Enough, enough." The mist cleared, revealing a cave where a stone pulsed, its light warm. "There!" Bluey clapped. "It's like a glowy rock hug." They approached, and Mickey touched the stone. "Echo Stone, we're here to help the stories, honestly." It blazed, and light swirled into the book, a tale of truth that echoes forever. But Gleena's eyes narrowed, and she whispered, "The shadow's name is Talawai, the storyteller. She's near." The cave shook, and rocks blocked the exit, Talawai's star symbol carved above. Chapter 14, The Hidden Village. The Mountain of Echoes rumbled around Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, rocks sealing the cave's exit with a heavy crunch. The Echo Stone's warm light pulsed, its story of honesty now glowing in the magic book, but Gleena's words, "The shadow's name is Talawai, the storyteller," hung like a chilly mist. Above the blocked exit, Talawai's star symbol glowed, sharp and bold, matching the mark that had haunted them since the Singing Forest. Mickey's heart thumped, the book warm in his hands, its pulse quick and nervous, like it sensed Talawai's nearness. He wanted to be brave, but knowing the shadow's name made it feel too real. Bluey tapped the rocks, her tail wagging slowly. Tallow sounds like a fancy name. Maybe she just wants to join our story club, right? Peppa snorted, her hooves scraping the cave floor. Join us? Bluey, she's trapping us in caves. Mickey, Gleena knows something. What's this storyteller deal? Mickey glanced at Gleena, her lantern casting soft light on her wise eyes. The book's glow flickered, the echo story bright but restless, Tallow-Eye's star pulsing like a heartbeat. Gleena, he said, his voice wobbly, who's Tallow-Eye? Why's she following us? Gleena's bleat was soft. Tallow-Eye's old as stories, a weaver of tales who lost her way. Her star marks what's hers. The mountain hears her, but only honesty frees you now. She nudged the rocks. Speak to the stone, as you did before. Mickey took a breath, his friend's eyes on him. Echo Stone, we're honest. We're here to save the stories, not steal them. Please open. Peppa added, yeah, we want to help, even Tallow-Eye. Bluey giggled. And make everything fun again. The rocks shivered, then rolled aside, the star symbol fading. Gleena nodded. You're close to her truth. Go gently. The cave shimmered, and the book flared, pulling them forward with a whoosh. Colors spun, echoes faded, and a warm breeze wrapped them. When the world steadied, they stood in a quiet village nestled in a valley, its houses woven from vines and flowers. Lanterns glowed like fireflies, and a stream sang softly, winding past gardens. The air smelled of bread and petals, but the streets were empty, doors shut tight, as if the village was hiding. Bluey spun, her ears flapping. It's like a fairy tale town. Where's everyone? Are they napping? Peppa stepped carefully, her eyes darting. Napping? This place feels secret. Mickey, that star's been everywhere. Is Tallow-Eye here? Mickey opened the book, its glow calm but heavy, like it was holding its breath. The echo story sparkled, but Tallow-Eye's star pulsed, clearer than ever. We're here for another story, he said, his voice low. But I think Tallow-Eye's close. Really close. His tummy twisted. The village felt gentle, but the quiet was too loud, like it was waiting for them to slip up. A soft rustle broke the silence, and a rabbit hopped from a garden, her fur dappled like sunlight, her eyes kind but cautious. She carried a tiny basket of berries. "Hi-lo, travelers," she said, her voice like a whispery song. "I'm Briar, keeper of the hidden village. You're here for a story, aren't you?" Mickey nodded, easing at Briar's warmth. "I'm Mickey, this is Bluey and Peppa. We're filling this book with tales. Can you help?" Briar's ears twitched. The village has a story, but its heart, the kindness bloom, is asleep. It grows with care, but shadows dim it. Find it, wake it with kindness, and the tale's yours. But the village guards its heart, show you're true, or it'll close. She pointed to a path lined with glowing flowers, leading to a grove. Peppa frowned. Shadows? You mean Tallow-Eye, don't you? Is she messing with this place, too? Bluey bounced. Maybe she's just shy. We'll find the bloom and give it a big hug. Mickey gripped the book, Briar's words sinking in. Kindness sounded simple, but Tallow-Eye's name made it heavy. They followed the path, the flowers nodding as they passed. The village stayed quiet, but curtains twitched, eyes peeking. Bluey waved at every window, giggling, while Peppa stayed close, her hooves soft on the dirt. Mickey's steps felt heavy. Tala why was the storyteller, what did she want with their book? The grove was a circle of trees, their leaves like stained glass, and at its center, a flower bud glowed faintly, curled tight. Briar appeared beside them. The kindness bloom. It opens to hearts that give without asking. Try. Mickey knelt, the book open. Kindness bloom, we want to help the stories, to share them. The bud stirred. Peppa swallowed. I'm not always nice, but I want to make things better. The bud quivered. Bluey grinned. I love making everyone smile, like a big party. The bud glowed, but stayed shut. Briar's eyes softened. You're close. The village knows Talawai's home, her old house is here, empty now. She loved stories, but hurt dimmed her light. Give something true. Mickey's chest ached. Talawai's home. He looked at his friends, their faces open and brave. Let's find her house, he said. Briar led them to a cottage, its door ajar, star symbols carved on its frame. Inside, shelves held faded books, and a mirror showed their faces, not scared, but kind. Peppa placed a flower from the path on a table. For Talawai, so she's not alone. Bluey added a pebble. To make her smile. Mickey left a note, we're here to help. The cottage glowed, and back in the grove, the bloom opened, its light warm as a hug. Words swirled into the book, a story of kindness that heals. But Briar whispered, Talawai's watching. She's not ready, but you are. The ground shook, and the path twisted, vines blocking their way, Talawai's star carved in the dirt. Chapter 15, The Heart of the Book. The hidden village trembled around Mickey Mouse, Bluey Healer, and Peppa Pig, vines twisting across the path like a net, blocking their way. The Kindness Bloom story glowed in the magic book, a tale of healing hearts, but Talawai's star symbol, carved in the dirt, pulsed with a quiet challenge. Briar the rabbit's words, Talawai's watching. She's not ready, but you are, echoed in Mickey's mind, and the memory of Talawai's cottage, with its faded books and lonely air, made his chest ache. The book's warmth surged in his hands, its pulse strong and steady, like it was ready for something big. But Mickey's tummy fluttered. Were they really ready to face Talawai, the storyteller? Bluey poked a vine, her tail wagging cautiously. These vines are like grumpy spaghetti. Maybe we sing to them, like in the forest? Peppa crossed her arms, her hoofs tapping. Sing. Bluey, we're stuck again, and that stars everywhere. Mickey, Talawai's house was sad. Is she, okay? Mickey opened the book, its glow bright but heavy, like it carried all their stories. The kindness tale sparkled, but Talawai's star burned clearer, almost calling him. Briar said we're ready, he said, his voice soft. Maybe we need to show Talawai we mean it. Like we did for the bloom. He knelt by the vines, touching the star symbol. Talawai, we're not here to take your stories. We want to help you, too. The vines shivered, then parted, revealing the path. Briar's eyes twinkled. You see her heart. The book's core waits, go gently. The village shimmered, and the book flared, pulling them forward with a whoosh. Colors spun, flowers faded, and a warm light wrapped them. When the world steadied, they stood in a vast, glowing chamber, its walls like open pages, words and pictures swirling in soft colors. The air hummed with a song of all their adventures, forests, seas, stars. At the center, a pedestal held a single, radiant orb, pulsing like a tiny sun. The book in Mickey's hands glowed in sync, as if it belonged here. Bluey gasped, her ears flapping. It's like the book's house. Look at that shiny ball. Is it a story star? Peppa stepped closer, her eyes wide. This feels important. Mickey, is this the end? Where's Tell-O-Why? Mickey's heart raced. The book's glow was stronger than ever, and the star symbol pulsed on its page, now soft, not sharp. This must be the book's heart, he said. We're close to fixing it. But Tell-O-Why's part of this. His voice trembled. Every world had led here, and he wasn't sure he was brave enough for the truth. A soft rustle broke the quiet, and Tell-O-Why appeared, not a shadow now, but a figure in a starry cloak, her face old and kind, eyes full of stories and sorrow. Her voice was like a whisper from a dream. Hello, children. I'm Tell-O-Why, the storyteller. You've carried my book far. Mickey froze, the book warm in his hands. Tell-O-Why, you're the one who took the stories? Why? Tell-O-Why's cloak shimmered, stars twinkling. Long ago, I wove tales for all, but hearts grew greedy, taking without giving. I hid the stories to protect them, but loneliness dimmed my light. Your kindness, courage, trust, you've brought them back. She gestured to the orb. The heart of the book. One last story, woven with love, will make it whole. Peppa gulped. Love? We've done a lot, Tell-O-Why. What's left? Bluey bounced. Love's easy. It's like hugging your best friends or sharing your favorite toy. Mickey's throat tightened. Tell-O-Why's sadness felt heavy, like a story he wanted to fix. He stepped to the orb, the book open. Tell-O-Why, we love stories, and we want you to love them again. Let's make one together. He placed the book on the pedestal, and the orb glowed, showing their adventures, vines, stars, seas. Peppa added, for everyone who needs a tale. Bluey grinned. And for giggles and hugs. The orb blazed, and light swirled, filling the book with every story they'd found, plus one more, a tale of a storyteller who found her spark again. Tell-O-Why smiled, her cloak brightening. You've done it. The book's whole. But every story needs a keeper. She touched the book, and it pulsed, warm and alive. The chamber shook, and Tell-O-Why's eyes widened. The book's heart is strong, but its power pulls. You must choose, take it home, or let it grow wild. Shadows flickered on the walls, not Tell-O-Why's, but something older, tied to the star symbol. Mickey's heart pounded. Choose? He looked at his friends, their faces brave but unsure. The book was theirs, but its glow felt bigger now, like it could spark more than they knew. Tell-O-Why, he said, what happens if it grows wild? Tell-O-Why's voice softened. Stories spread, free for all, but some may twist. Keepers guide them. The shadows grew, and the orb pulsed faster, like a heartbeat racing. Bluey hugged Peppa. It's like letting a puppy run. Fun, but scary. Peppa gripped Mickey's arm. Mickey, what do we do? This is big. The chamber rumbled, and the shadows formed a star, Tell-O-Why's symbol, but cracked, like it was breaking. Chapter 16, a new chapter. The heart of the book pulsed wildly, its glowing orb casting light across Mickey Mouse, Bluey Heeler, and Peppa Pig, as shadows swirled into a cracked star symbol on the chamber's walls. Tallow the storyteller stood before them, her starry cloak shimmering, her eyes kind but urgent. The magic book lay open on the pedestal, every story they'd gathered, kindness, courage, trust, love, sparkling like jewels. Her question hung heavy, take the book home, or let its stories grow wild. The chamber rumbled, the orb's heart beat loud, and Mickey's own heart raced. The cracked star felt like a warning, but Tallow-Eyes' hope pulled him forward. He gripped his friend's hands, their warmth steadying him. Bluey's tail wagged, her voice small but bright. It's like choosing to share my favorite toy forever. I want everyone to have stories, but what if they get lost? Peppa bit her lip, her hoofs shuffling. Mickey, this is huge. If we keep it, it's safe. If we let it go, it's messy. What's right? Mickey looked at the book, its glow warm and alive, Tallow-Eyes' star symbol soft now, not sharp. Every world they'd faced, forests, seas, mazes, taught him stories weren't meant to be locked away. But the shadows worried him. Could they trust the world to hold them gently? He took a breath, his voice shaky but clear. Tallow, you hid the stories because people took too much. If we let them grow, we'll be keepers, like you said. To guide them. Tallow-Eyes' eyes twinkled, like stars waking up. A keeper's heart. Brave choice, Mickey. Speak it to the heart, all of you. Mickey faced the orb, Bluey, and Peppa beside him. We want the stories to grow, he said, so everyone can find them. Peppa added, but we'll watch, to keep them kind. Bluey giggled. And fun, like a big story party. The orb blazed, its light flooding the chamber. The shadows shrank, the cracked star fading, and the book hummed, pages fluttering as new words appeared, a promise of tales yet to come, free but guided. Tallow stepped forward, her cloak glowing brighter. You've mended what I broke. The stories live because of you. Take the book home, it's yours, but its heart is everywhere now. She touched the orb, and it sank into the book, sealing with a soft glow. The chamber steadied, the air warm as a hug. Bluey clapped her paws. We did it. The book's happy, and Tallow-Eyes smiling. Are we story heroes now? Peppa grinned, nudging Mickey. Heroes? Maybe. But I'm ready for a nap, not another cave trap. Mickey laughed, relief washing over him. The book felt lighter, like it trusted them. Tallow, he said, will we see you again? Tallow-Eyes' smile was soft. Stories never end, Mickey. I'll be in them, and so will you. She shimmered, her cloak dissolving into sparkles, and the chamber glowed, pulling them gently. Colors spun, the book flared, and a familiar breeze wrapped them. When the world cleared, they stood in the Willow Creek Elementary Library, moonlight spilling through the window. The shelves were quiet, the air smelling of paper and home. Bluey spun, her tail wagging. We're back. The library's all cozy again. But, was it a dream? Peppa tapped the book in Mickey's hands. Dream? Peppa Pig doesn't dream up talking books. It's real, Bluey. Mickey opened the book, its pages full, each story glowing, forest songs, starry wishes, stormy pearls. The last page held Tallow-Eyes' star, now whole, with a note, keep telling. His chest warmed. It's real, he said. And it's not over. Stories keep going, They slipped the book onto a shelf, where it shimmered faintly, like it was waiting for someone new. Outside, the playground was still, stars bright above. Bluey hugged them both. Best adventure ever! What's next? A moon picnic? Peppa laughed. Next, I'm sleeping for a week. But, maybe a puddle jump tomorrow. Mickey smiled, his heart full. They'd faced shadows, vines, storms, and Tallow-wise sorrow, and come out stronger. The book was safe, its stories free, but a tiny spark in its glow hinted at more, worlds unopened, tales untold. He didn't know what they'd find, but with Bluey and Peppa, he was ready. As they stepped into the night, a breeze rustled, carrying a whisper, not Tallow-wise, but something new. The library door creaked, and a page turned, somewhere in the dark. Thank you for listening to these incredible stories. Our team would really appreciate it if you give us a like and comment. Your opinion is very important to us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed.